Hi Gemini, welcome to your September 2023 Astro-Tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. I always advise with these, because they're based on the astrology, if you're only going to watch one, make sure it's for your ascendant sign. It's likely to be the most accurate for you on that day-to-day level. With that said, if you are a continued subby, I absolutely love you anyway. But if you're a continued subby, Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. Also, worth mentioning, I use whole sign Western tropical astrology, so for those of you that would like to know which system I'm using. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, the first transit that I want to take a look at for you is on the 4th of September. Jupiter in its retrograde in your 12th house is going to come into a direct trine with Mercury, who is also retrograde in its home sign of Virgo in your 4th house. So you've got a 12th house, 4th house connection here of the planet of communication, excitation, speed, conversation, thought processes, and the planet of luck, abundance, growth, expansion. Jupiter in the 12th actually acts like what I call true guardian angel energy. You've heard me say that before, right? Mercury is exalted in the sign of Virgo, so it already does very good work there. This is your past, the 12th house, and your deepest emotional self, the 4th house, coming into a harmonious connection, which means there's a chance for you. So retrograde energies are redoing, rehashing, renegotiating, redefining, redesigning, any reword, right? Retrograde, reupholster, all of the rest of it, right? To redo something. You are here for a lot of you because these are very deep houses, right? The 4th house is very deep energy, whereas the 12th house is sort of the past, the privacy and the hidden part of you. And it's also it can be the house of self-undoing, right? And so you're getting a chance here to reclaim your personal understanding of what it means to be part of a family, how you show up in your family, and what the heritage is that they've given you or left you with. Many of you could undo some kind of programming or conditioning here. It's possible that you're releasing some kind of familial or emotional baggage, clearing up your relationships with family and the history that they've given you or left you with. This is the ability to stand on your familial history in a way that actually empowers you and frees you in some way, shape or form. Now, it's not super rare for Mercury to go retrograde. You know this is your ruling planet. Mercury, no offense, but the retrograde whore is you're always going retrograde. I see Mercury as kind of like I don't know if you ever watched Sister with Tia and Tamira. They always had that kid, go home, Roger. That's Mercury. Mercury is Roger, right? Always going retrograde. Like, go home, Mercury. Right? So, not rare. Jupiter goes retrograde once a year for about 3.5 to 4 months. Not rare. But for them to come into an exact trine like this while both being retrograde, more rare. All right? So I love this, and because your Mercury, your ruling planet, is in a sign that it's comfortable in, your communication around the past is easier for you. Jupiter in the 12th, you have a chance to really understand your own desires around career, and also to understand the limiting factor or what the limiting factors are around your career growth. All right, so I love this for you. For this, you've got the 7 of Pentacles. This is showing you that slow and steady really is going to win the race for you with the Queen of Pentacles. So potentially reconnecting you with an earth sign woman, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, with the 8 of Swords. This could be an opportunity to reconnect with somebody, maybe a familial member, a family member or a familial tie, but could just as easily be somebody that fulfills the role that you need as a spiritual advisor or guru, or somebody that's helping you really understand your deeper sense of self and clear up your emotional history and or baggage. Now, on the 8th of September, the sun is going to come into what we call one of the luckiest aspects in astrology. And for you, this is happening across the same houses, the 12th house and the 4th house. So the sun is now in Virgo in that 4th house for you. Jupiter's still in that 12th house, is going to be there for a good while yet. It doesn't leave here until May of 2024. Right, and so this is happening in those same spaces for you, but because there's a chance here for a family member to bless you, to offer you some kind of gift. It will probably be a father figure, because the sun represents masculine energies, or, you know, men, important men in our lives. And because it's coming into the 4th house, it's very likely to be that a man in your family offers you some kind of blessing, some kind of assistance or support. It could be financial. The 12th house is an intangible house, so it could just be some kind of advice that they give you that really helps mend something or heal something for you. This could potentially be like a big display of affection as well, that has like a very physical element to it. It could be money, chocolate, all the good things, but it could just as easily be that the Jupiterian 12th house energies are blessing you with gifts for your past good deeds. So for things that you've already done in life for other people, where you've already shown up for others, could now make its way back to you. And, you know, the sun in the 4th is highlighting the happiness and the comfort and connection of those that you share blood with. So this could be lovely, you know, and, you know, not everybody has a blood family that they're close to. So this could be your chosen family, but it also has a lot to do with your roots. This is a time for lightness and happiness, even with the 12th house connection, even with because the 12th house and the 4th house are quite deep spaces in the chart, but because of the planets that are, you know, well, the planet Jupiter and, you know, the luminary, the sun, because it's such a harmonious connection between two of the lightest and brightest energies in our zodiac, this is going to be easy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to make you smile, and it potentially brings so much healing into you, your body and your emotions, that you could just be like, you know what, I feel like I've mended the stuff that I needed to. This could be an emotional healing and some kind of magic that you haven't felt before. A connection between what and who you love and those that you have no choice to love could go very, very well. So, you know, if you're introducing somebody to your kids, if you're introducing your significant other to your parents, if you're, you know, all of that kind of stuff, maybe a parent is introducing their significant other to you, it goes really, really well. And it's like you look at your people and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, they love you and you love them and I love all of you, and like it's like, oh, like I got goosebumps, I'm getting emotional. Like it could be, you could just this, yeah. There's nothing else I can say, and I very rarely get speechless. You guys know this, right? I could talk for Britain. So for this, you got the Ace of Cups, supreme harmony and happiness. With the Strength card, this is true happiness, true love. With the Four of Wands, for some of you, this could be an engagement. Just going to say it. Maybe it's not yours, maybe it's a family member's, but either which way, there is a connection in, with, around, or for the family that makes everybody who is involved very, very happy. This is a beautiful energy that I think you will remember for a very long time to come, and I don't say that lightly. On the 16th of September, you are going to see Venus come into its final square with Jupiter. We've already had 2 passes of this at this point. This is happening across that 12th house, Jupiter retrograde there in your 12th, and Venus in your 3rd house, right? So Jupiter in your 12th, making its final square to Venus in your 3rd. You're finally ready to communicate or share, or maybe even just write down all the shifts that have taken place internally for you. And what this means is you've earned the stripes needed to advise others in some specific area of life that you have now graduated. So this is, you know, maybe you start to put together a coaching program, maybe you start to write a book, maybe you start formulating a blog or a YouTube channel about stuff that you have been looking at or into in a very deep way since June 11th, right? Now, it will have been for longer than this, obviously, It's not just, oh yeah, you know, I had a couple of Jupiter square Venuses and now I'm an expert on it. You'll have been doing this for a long time anyway, but this will really have given you the life qualification that you need to advise others on how to traverse and navigate this. Jupiter rules your 7th and your 10th house, Venus your 5th and your 12th house. This is truly about relationships, and maybe even your relationship to pleasure, where it either nourishes you or it's an addiction, and you could be helping other ones, right? Like other people with this. For those of you that are single, you probably won't be for much longer. Your status is about to change. For those of you that are partnered, this is something about the relationship that is asking for change, and it's almost like it's not freely given. So the chances are potentially, if you don't roll with this or your partner doesn't, maybe something breaks. And then you know, this is the final pass of this square where it needs to be mended. There is a discomfort. There's a purpose to the discomfort that you're feeling at this moment in time. And if it really gives you the chance to change something, and you're open to this because you're a mutable sign anyway. So it's whether the other person or the other party is. For this, you've got the Lover's card. That's you. With the Ace of Swords. And the Nine of Wands, right? If you're single and you're willing to make yourself vulnerable, and you're willing to admit where maybe your, you know, shortcomings are around relationships, pleasure, fun, you know, letting loose, all of that kind of stuff, and, you know, to accept that other people have their limitations as well, this goes swimmingly for you. If you are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, one way that this possibly shows up for you is you and your partner having a really serious conversation about how something has made you feel or them feel, and how that has really affected the health of the relationship. It won't be ignored, all right? It's a square, and it's the final one of this transit. So it's like the knowledge that you've gained, it will allow you, or it will help you or enable or empower you to speak on this in a powerful way. And then finally, on the 24th, Mars is going to come into an opposition, a direct opposition with Chiron. This day in general is pretty dicey. And there's a lot of powerful energy flowing at this time, and it's a day, right? We're going to know about this one. The seeds, so Chiron in your 11th house will have been, you know, yeah, like. And then obviously you've got Mars in your 5th house of Libra, right? So Chiron in that 11th house, Chiron presents us with a wound, right? It shows us where something has made us feel a certain way, but it also contains the healing balm or the soothing energy that we need in order to heal from that. Mars is power, action, energy, excitation, irritation, and sometimes war. And it's in the sign of Libra. It's in the sign of its fool, right? Which means that all of us are feeling frustrated or annoying or some kind of annoyance, because it's like the way that we move forward isn't so direct. It's not so clear cut. And to me, all right. So that being said, in that opposition to Chiron in the sign of Aries, so Chiron's in the sign of Mars, and Mars is in the sign of Venus, where it doesn't necessarily do great work. So, and Mars is, you know, Aries is the sign of the self. And so Chiron is showing us like a vulnerable point for us in that specific area of life. So the 11th house is your friends, social networks, your group, how you connect to wider circles, social media presence, all of that stuff. Mars is in your 5th house of pleasure, joy, romance, etc. For you guys, right, and so just to kind of backtrack for a moment, because this is happening across the 11th, 5th house axis for you, right? This is your creative and pleasure sort of axis. And what this basically says to me is the healing that Chiron offers you has to be enacted through that Mars in the 5th, right? And Mars in your 5th house is bringing your attention to the creative energy that is bursting out of you. Your need and your desire for pleasure, for fun and enjoyment has to be fulfilled. And if it isn't, if you ignore this, you're going to feel that, because Chiron is going to show you that getting out into the world, creating plans for your future with your friends can provide the healing that you need. Chiron in the 11th is very much about feeling separate from the group, and the 5th house is basically saying connect to people, create a tribe, get out there into the world and enjoy and experience the world around you. That is how you access the healing that Chiron offers you. Okay, so really powerful stuff for all of us this month. For this, you've got the Page of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, oh dear. All right, and you've got the 10 of Cups. Look at that, right? So 2 pages represents the energy of disquiet. This is your sign if you needed a sign, a symbol, a synchronicity, if you needed somebody to give you permission. Most Geminis don't. But if you do need that, or if you did need that, this is your sign to get out in the world and fuck shit up. Have fun. Go out. Be wild. Let your hair down. Go to a festival. Go to a party. Go to a house party. Throw a house party. Throw an adult sleepover. Whatever it is that you find exciting and enjoyable and helps you connect to more people and experience joy, pleasure, fun, creativity, for you to unleash your own inner child. This is the time for you to do it, because that's what's going to enable you to tap into that Chiron energy of healing, right? This is the way that you approach these two things, and it's how you get the most out of both. As if that wasn't enough, for your Chiron, enough of that, for your Virgo new moon, which for you is in your, your Virgo new moon is in your 4th house, home, family, property. You got the gate 64 and confusion. I don't think this is confusion. I actually think this is clarity. And I think what comes up here is this new moon is going to show you how confused or conflicted you've been previously because of the stuff that you've carried from your upbringing, your heritage, and maybe even through the family. The full moon in the sign of Aries, which for you is going to be in your oh gosh, let me just double check. I did have it written down because I can't remember these all. For you, this is happening in your 11th house, sorry. And right, that full moon in Aries, this really is highlighting that Chiron, right? It's not conjunct Chiron, but it's going to be a strong enough full moon to really highlight this to you. And the gate 36 in greener grass is basically by saying, you know, you might try to bypass the work that needs to be done here by saying, oh, well, you know, it's hard and I feel too different from the group and too different from my friends, and, you know, they don't really get my stuff and all the rest of it. Well, either create a new tribe of friends or make them understand. Bring them into your weird and wonderful. This is a time for you to shine, and it's also a time where you are really getting a glimpse at what your future holds for you, because the 11th house is your highest goals and future aspirations and dreams. And, you know, this may be one of those times where the grass really is greener, where you're going to water it. And that is to show people, you know, who you really are. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.